Hello everyone. Happy Wednesday. Super excited to be here as always every Wednesday. Remember, I am coming into a group and I am sharing value with you. And these will all be saved in the group as well. I'll put this in the featured section after we're done today. For anyone that, is catching the replay, just know that that's where you can find them always, okay? So happy to be here. Super excited that I get to talk to you today about how to grow a Facebook group without posting every day. Now, before I jump into that, I'm just going to quickly make sure that I'm live. So I'm not being rude. I'm just checking here quick. Just give me a second. Looks like I am live. Okay, great. If you put stuff in the comments, like say live if you're here right now, or put replay if you're coming in and watching the replay. We'd just like to see who's here, who's coming after. And hi, oh yes, Cindy's in the comments here. Hi, Cindy. She will be responding to anyone. Cindy is my business partner. I'll get into that in just a second, but she's in the comments there. So feel free to ask questions or just make comments in there about what we are speaking about today. So today we're talking about how posting every day is not what really grows your Facebook group, okay? And honestly, it's the fastest way I see people burn out and trying to trying to build a new group, right? Because they're feeling like, oh, this isn't working. Maybe I need a new group. Maybe I don't have the right people in this group. But because people don't have a formula, they kind of do things randomly, right? And that doesn't create a community feel. So what we want to do is keep the formula super simple, right? Because most group owners think that they don't they just need to post more, or they just need to get more people in there. But if there isn't a follow-up, then it gets lost, okay? I see Allison, I'm not sure how you say your name, Azera, maybe? Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Sometimes I don't see the comments, so this is exciting that I'm actually seeing the comments today. But anyways, what most people do is like I said, they think they need more posts, or they think they just need more people in there, which can be some of the formula, okay? But most of the time it goes beyond that, right? And they're feeling stuck because they have low engagement, they have slow member growth, or you have a group full of people that really never become clients, right? So if you've been feeling like your group really requires constant posting to stay alive, this live here right now is for you, and it's going to shift how you think about group growth completely, okay? Because groups don't grow from volume of content, really. They grow from the systems behind that activate the people, okay? They grow from the systems behind that activate the people. That's super important. Write this down, okay? For those who don't know me yet, my name is Kelsey Bornick. I am a success and strategy coach. I help coaches, consultants, and service providers get clients using Facebook groups instead of just places where content kind of gets posted and then ignored, okay? And in the comments, like I mentioned, is my business partner, Cindy Marie. She's an AI specialist, educator, and consultant. And we work with people in our programs to really utilize Facebook and how to get clients, okay, on a consistent basis. And that has to do with implementing systems. And that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today. So we want to make sure that our group is a place where people engage, people start trusting each other, right? And trusting you, and people actually buy without you feeling like you have to babysit the group every single day, Okay. So most people think that their group isn't growing because, like I said before, they're not posting enough, right? But that is rarely the issue. The real issue really is there's no growth and activation system inside your group. So what happens instead is people rely on daily content, motivation posts, random engagement questions, or hoping the algorithm saves them. But this is a place where we actually can ignore the algorithm and really put in systems that put ourselves in front of our members consistently, right? So, and when the result, when you're relying on the daily content and the motivation posts and those kinds of things, are members join, but they don't participate ever, right? Or posts get a few likes and then they disappear. And the group never really becomes where your business is actually happening, right? And but we want to obviously grow our group consistently without having to run on content all the time, right? We really only have to post in our group. We should only have to post in our group about 3 times a week, okay? So other than that, it's actually creating a lot more noise. It depends on the where you're at in your system as well, right? If you're getting closer to an event, you're going to post a little bit more. But other than that, it's really about keeping the group engaged, asking the right questions. But furthermore, what we're talking about today is creating that structure behind the posts. So let me break down what actually grows your Facebook group without needing those daily posts, okay? So really you need a clear entry path. Most groups treat new members like random visitors instead of really engaging with those people. But when someone joins your group, they should immediately understand why they are here, right? They want to be able, like, is this the group that I thought I was joining? Are they giving value in this group, right? You want that to be instant and that people can understand that they're going to get that. Then the people want to understand, what are they going to gain from this group, right? What are they going to gain? What systems are you putting in place to make sure that you are getting in front of them constantly, so they are gaining trust in you, but they're also gaining some knowledge, they're learning things, right? And this is how people start to know, like, and trust you. And then you also want them to feel like they know what they need to do next, right? We have to lead a horse to water. So what is that clear path that moves people into engaging immediately instead of just lurking silently behind, right? And we love our lurkers, don't get me wrong, we love our lurkers, right? Because we understand that not everyone wants to be on social, right? But we also need to get people to engage a little bit and feel like they're in a safe place where they can become less silent and they can actually speak, right? They can use their voice. And that's where we want really activation moments, right? A safe place for people to use their voice. Because engagement doesn't happen because you post more, like I said, but it happens because members are given those moments to participate, okay? It happens because members are given the moment to participate. We're giving them a safe place where they can use their voice, right? So this might look like your welcome post, right? Where we're tagging them and we're saying, hey, welcome, and we're kind of telling them what the group's for, why they're here, what they're gonna get out of it, what to expect. Then you have a welcome video, right? Where you kind of go into more detail. This really helps build the know, like, and trust. And then you're gonna send out a welcome DM as well as an email if you get their email, just saying, hey, welcome to the group. We're really trying to direct them to the next thing, right? What is the next thing we can put them in front of that make them want to engage in this group? So maybe it's your last live, maybe it's a training you did and you shared in the community, right? Maybe it's a reel that actually, like, really pinpoints one particular one particular pain point that you think is really important, right? So it doesn't matter what it is, it's just that we're taking that next step for them to engage, right? For them to speak instead of constantly just consuming content, right? We want to move people forward versus just staying in the content consuming mode, right? So we want to really create those opportunities. And then we want to move on to community momentum, okay? When engagement becomes part of the culture of the group, right? And that is really exciting because that's when you start seeing members really create the momentum themselves, right? They comment, they post, they share, they support each other, they participate in conversations, right? This is when you know that your group is starting to really become alive, okay? And suddenly the group feels exciting and it's like you're having your own little party, right? Because this is where we get to really curate what they're seeing, what they're doing, what we're talking about, right? But it's not about just posting more and more. It's about the latter where we actually follow through and start conversations. And then the next thing we want to focus on is the conversion path, okay? And this is the part where a lot of group members completely miss. Is like, how do we move them from conversing, from giving them opportunities to speak, right? Figuring out what they want, what they don't want, to actually into becoming possibly a paid client, right? And we do that because through your Facebook group, like I said, we're trying to build that know, like, and trust. And when we do that, it naturally leads to conversations, opportunities, and then eventually clients, right? And it's not that we're trying to get every single person in our group to be our client, right? We're here to serve in our groups. We're here to give value. We're here to help them make that next best move, right? And that is okay too. But if we earn the know, like, and trust, and they're in a space where they really want to take that action and they need the accountability and they need someone to tell them those exact next steps, right? That is when those conversations and opportunities will then turn into clients, right? It's not through pressure. Cindy and I are really big on making sure that you guys know that we do not create pressure moments where you feel like, oh my God, I have to make a decision, right? We create safe opportunities for you to make a decision, okay? And that's what we want you to do for your clients as well. And through our clear pathways, right, when you're a new member, we're trying to build that know, like, and trust, because that is what's going to create the conversations. That's going to create the opportunities, right? And create the safe space to make the next move. And you want them to understand how they can work with you as well, right? And so that's how we portray our content in our groups. So what are we talking about? What events are we doing? What offers do we have, right? We don't want to only talk about those things, but we do want to make it clear to our people is how we can help them, right? How can we help them? Sometimes you're in a group and you're like, I have no idea what this group is about. I don't know how the owner could help me if I wanted to, move my business, right? Like they don't know enough to feel safe to make that decision with you, right? So we really want to focus on the know, like, and trust and that clear pathway that brings them through like a nurturing sequence when they come into your group, because everyone that comes into your group is special, right? We're special. We are here for a reason, and we want them here for a reason. So we want to engage and want them to feel like this is their space as well, okay? I want you guys to really cut out of your head that you feel that you need to do content every single day. It doesn't mean you can't. I'm just saying you don't have to, okay? You don't have to do content every single day. And remember, content that doesn't move to a conversation is pointless. It's just noise, okay? You want to start conversations. That's what the algorithm wants you to do. So make sure that the content that you're putting out triggers some type of conversation. And you want to continue those conversations in the comments and then eventually into the DMs, right? We're not getting into that full system today, but that's really important, right? Is where is the next step, not only for them, but for you to take? What is that clear path? So instead, you start feeling, when you build this know, like, and trust, right? And you start feeling, or start seeing rather, things like members welcoming other members, okay? And so that's when you know that you've really built this safe space for people. And conversations start happening naturally, right? And that can be really hard for people online because we kind of forget how to be human, and we forget that it's really just like if we were walking up to someone on the street and saying, hey, how's it going, right? We wouldn't automatically try to sell to them. We wouldn't automatically try to pressure them into something, right? That would feel weird in person, right? That would be like being the car salesman, and we don't want to be the car salesman or the door-to-door salesman, right? Like we're not here for that, right? We're here for creating these moments, these safety points, so people feel comfortable engaging, right? Like I said, conversations start happening naturally. People tag each other in posts saying, hey, I think you'd really like this one if you missed it, right? And you actually start creating conversations from the group that turn into paid clients, like I mentioned, right? And this is where your community starts becoming a community that grows, right? A community that builds trust. A community that business just happens organically, right? Because we're feeling safe, we're feeling known, we're feeling liked. On the other side, you guys are feeling heard, you're feeling seen, right? That is what we really want to make happen. And when this all comes together, your group starts feeling like an asset instead of another thing you just need to do. Okay, and that's exactly what we're going to be really building inside our Client Attraction 5-day sprint happening on March 23rd to 27th. It's a free event, and we really go through some of the actions that you can take to not only build your community, but also get into conversations to be able to turn your conversations and your visibility to paying clients, okay? And that's what's really important. Inside the sprint, we're really installing the pieces that make that happen. We're gonna talk about how you position yourself so the right people are drawn into you. We're gonna learn how to activate conversations, okay? And we're going to learn how to turn that attention into real opportunities. Turn that attention into real opportunities, right? Being online, it needs to have a purpose behind it, right? Are we here just to make relationships, or are we here to really deepen relationships, right? Deepen relationships so they feel they know, like, and trust you, and you create those real opportunities. So the simple client attraction system that we teach you, it really makes your audience start leaning in more towards you instead of you constantly pushing out content and feel like you're chasing people, right? So if this interests you, just drop sprint in the comments and we'll get back to you with the details, see if it's the right fit for you, and we'll go from there. Or if you're really interested in just skipping that, getting on a call and figuring out how we can really turn your Facebook group into a client generating ecosystem, then just drop game plan down and we will get back to you with the link, and we'll figure out when's the best time to talk to you about that, okay? Again, no pressure, just clarity. And also, of course, we're going to discuss about where are you, where are your gaps, and what shifts can you start making to start generating clients, okay? So again, just drop game plan if that interests you. So we're going to leave today just remembering that posting every day doesn't grow our group, but the structure behind it does, okay? Posting every day does not grow your Facebook group, but structure does. You want to build the system and the group that starts working for you, okay? We want to build a system in a group that starts working for you, and that is the point. If you have any questions, I hope you're dropping them in the comments. Oh, I see Allison. My problem is that I don't know how, or I don't know when to reach out, and when I do, they don't respond. Great question. So that's really common too. And so that often has to do with just languaging and how you are approaching them. Okay, so we can talk about how that can look. And we actually do talk about that in our sprint as well. Basically, when someone joins your group, you want to do one or two things. You can do it on the day of that they join the group, or you can make it a weekly occurrence where you're sending out a welcome message, right? This not only welcomes them into the group, tells them kind of where to go, what to do next, but it's also allowing you and them the opportunity to talk, to speak. What are they struggling with? Why did they join the group? What are they hoping to get out of this group, right? It gives you that opportunity to just really have a conversation. And again, you do this in a very human way, right? We want to be empathetic, and we want to be understanding, and we want to meet them where they are instead of where we think they should be. Okay, we want to meet them where they are instead of where we think they should be. Okay, that's super important as well. Let me see. I hope that was helpful. Let me see if there's any other questions here. Love that. The moment or opportunity to participate. Exactly, Sabrina. Thank you for that. That's awesome. And so I think I see lots of you watching here, but I don't see a lot of comments, which is totally okay. So yep, I have that, and one that goes out after the members join. Perfect. Okay, so Allison, that is great. I'm really glad to hear that. So what it is probably happening is that you just need to change the language on your message a little bit. This goes just like any other content on Facebook, right? We have to test. We have to test what our people are really resonating with. So if we are sending out a bunch of welcomes, and we're not getting a bunch of replies, then we need, first off, follow up with them, okay? And then secondly, we want to start changing the language a little bit in that welcome message because something's not hitting. And you also want to make sure that you are friends with the people in your community. Obviously, more so friends with people that, okay, let me just say this. I was going to say more so friends with people that you feel that you can move forward with, but that's not necessarily true. That's why I kind of stopped myself there. Really, we want to be friends with our community for a couple of reasons. A, we want to start building that know, like, and trust. B, we need to figure out if they are an ideal client, right? And then we really want to also be able to give them value. So whether it turns into a client or not, we still want to give them value. They're in our group for a reason. We're building a community. And like Cindy and I always like to say, we're building a tribe, a business tribe, right? Because doing it alone can be very lonely, but doing it with a tribe makes you greater, makes you better, makes you push harder, right? Because we have that community behind us. And that's what we want to create in our Facebook groups, right? Is that real community and that tribe-like feeling. So I hope that's all really helpful today. Like I said, I don't see any other questions. I do see Samantha will get back to you, right? So awesome today. Thank you for being here. If you have more questions now during the replay, keep the comments going. We will get back to you. And thank you for being here. We'll see you next Wednesday. Bye, everyone.